Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello once again, welcome to How to Paint Watercolours with me, Colin, and we'll get straight in with this one. This is a weak wash of raw sienna. This is £140 Bockingford paper and it's been stretched. Pop a bit in there. This is a relatively weak wash of French ultramarine burnt sienna in the top part of the sky into the raw sienna. This will be another two-stage sky. Just along here. This is cadmium yellow pale. I'm just going to drop in around the cottage. Bring some into here, into the raw sienna. Cadmium yellow deep, or cadmium yellow medium if you haven't got it. Some raw sienna once again. The board is set at an angle, done with the same mix as the sky colour. We're just going to put these hills in, wet into wet. Allow it to drift down. Bring it down over the trees. One in the back one. Soften it off with a damp brush. Same here. Then with a piece of damp tissue, just take it out where the trees are. Then we just need to leave that a couple of minutes while it just dries off slightly. So when it's dried off slightly, we'll be back. Okay, now that it's dried off slightly, this is a mixture of French ultramarine and light red. And we're just going to pop in some background trees. Maybe some bushes along here. Small liner brush, pull the tree trunks down. Some bushes along the back. We leave that to dry. Now that that's dried off, but the paper is still a tiny bit damp, we'll come into the fir trees. This is the same mixture of the light red and French ultramarine. And we'll just put in this fir tree, or evergreen. This tree goes behind the cottage. Then take some of your weak sky colour, which is the French ultramarine and burnt sienna, and just drop that in round to this one. Same again. French ultramarine and light red. Now we come to the one that's directly behind the cottage. This is French ultramarine and a stronger version of the French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just flick the brush. Slightly stronger mix of the sky colour. This is the same mix, but this is just add cadmium yellow pale added to it of the sky colour, just to give it an earthy green tone. With the same mix again, same procedure on this one. Put the earthy green in. mixture of light red and French ultramarine. There's a bush here as well. Take your liner brush. This is French ultramarine and burnt umber. Then we can just add the darker elements in on the bush. Then with your liner brush again, you can just add some sticks and twigs. Okay, now all this is dried off a little bit. I'm just adding some clean water to this puddle area here, and we're just going to allow this to sit for a while, just to soak into the paper a little bit. And whilst that is soaking, we can come back to our bushes once again with a really strong mix of French ultramarine and burnt umber, and just re-establish the darks where some of this is mingled. Just put in a few dark sticks and twigs. Then taking your damp brush, just soften the bottoms of some of these edges. Pulling some of the colour down into the damp paper. Now this puddle that's been sat for a while, we can just add a very light coat of raw sienna. Around the edges goes a mixture of light red and French ultramarine, all horizontal strokes. You can also take some of your sky colour, which is the French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just add some of that in. Then with a piece of tissue, you can just very gently just take out the centre . To the white paper. Okay, now that that's dry, we'll come in to paint the cottage roof and French ultramarine. And into that, I'm just going to drop a stronger mixture. Not everywhere. Brush and French ultramarine and burnt umber. Then we just put the top stones in, just indicate them. Soften the wall off into the grass at the bottom. So you can't tell. To leave that to dry, and then with the weak wash of your sky mixture again, we just come onto the side of the cottage, and we're just going to add in a little shadow, just watering it down with a tissue, slightly stronger mix just down the back edge. And I've re-wet everywhere you can see the yellow, and this is a mixture of the sky colour, French ultramarine, burnt umber, but I've also added some of the yellow, cadmium yellow pale, and I'm just going to bring this in on the side as well. I think we might turn this into a muddy track. Then with a stronger mix of the same colour, with slightly more sky colour added, so it's just a lot darker. You can bring this in as well. And don't forget, with it being wet paper, it will dry lighter. So don't be frightened of putting some on. Then with a clean damp brush, soften off some of these edges again. Up there, we can actually come back to the cottage now it's dried a little bit, and we're just going to re-wet it underneath here, around the windows. Some burnt umber, French ultramarine, straight under the eave. Make sure there's not too much on the brush. Just softening everything in. Leave that to dry. Okay, now that all that is dry, I'm going to move back to the sky, because like I said in the beginning, this is going to be a two-stage sky. So I'll just show you. This is pure, fresh, clean water, and this is a 2-inch flat brush. And re-wet your sky area all the way down into the hill. And if you do it quickly enough, you will not disturb the paint underneath. Check that all areas are covered. Now, as you can see, the shine on this now, it's too wet to add paint. It will just go everywhere, and you need a little bit of control. So we're just going to dry up around the edges. Okay, and then we're going to leave that till it reaches the right stage where you can add more colour to it. Okay, I think this is at the right stage. We've allowed about 10 minutes for the water to sink into the paper, and you can just see that the shine is just beginning to go off. Now, this is a very strong mixture of French ultramarine and burnt sienna, and we're just going to test it for flow. The board is set at a slight angle, but I just want to check that this is okay to start painting. I think so. Okay. And I want to make sure that it actually comes down in the direction that I want it to flow. Remember, with the water that's on the paper, this will dry actually lighter. And if it's running a little far, you can just check its flow by tipping the board at an angle to thin it out at the edges. Bring it down here. just add a little shape to some of this so that it's not all the same. Just gently encouraging it. Roll the board. And at this stage you can even take some out using a damp brush. Just adding extra interest. Rolling the damp brush round and taking the excess off on a tea towel. Now I'm going to lie the board flat. I'm going to allow that just to gently merge together. Okay, once your sky is done, we're just going to come back to the cottage and just redefine one or two areas, like the underneath the eave where there's a dark shadow. Some shadow around the windows, around the door, soften off the edges, occasion a few, just a few slate tiles, some brickwork or stonework. Don't go overboard, you just need to indicate it. Your eye will do everything else for you. Some here, a little bit stronger because it's in shadow. I'd just like to put some earthy furrows in along here now to indicate mud. And I'm back to the earthy green colour, but I'm just mixing some of the darker colour in with it, just to change it up a little bit. Just to make it look like it's a well-worn-in track. I'm just going to add the earthier tone to the top and allow it to drift down. And as this takes a little time, I'll turn the camera off and we'll come back and we can have a look once it's done. Once you have your furrows in, don't forget to soften off with a damp brush, which is a fully loaded brush. Wipe it through some kitchen towel and begin to feather the bottom edges in. This will attach it all to the ground. Okay, most of this has been softened off now, and don't forget to bring some of your divots into your puddle, and we're just going to add a shadow to this, which I'm just going to simply do by using a damp brush and pulling some of the colour down into the water. Just a few grasses just growing here and there. Don't make them all grow the same way. A little bit stronger, I think. Some reflection. I want to bring a few grasses into this area. I'll soften everything off with a damp brush in a minute. Soften it off into the grass. And then we have to leave all this to completely dry. Okay, now everything's dry. I've just put a couple of birds in there actually. A wash of cadmium red deep there with just some dark lines in to represent planks. And to give the painting more impact, we're actually going to glaze over the bottom part of this land area here. This is a watered down mix of your sky colour which is your French ultramarine and burnt umber, and we are just going to glaze across it. I'll bring it into the water a little bit. Same on this side. It's just a little strong. Take some out. Just do it relatively quickly, quite light on your stroke. Once again, taking a damp brush, softening off some of the edges. Okay, and that's your completed painting. We're going to wait for this to dry, we're going to sign it, then all you have to do is put a mount around it and frame it. I'll have a look once it's finished. Okay, that's your completed painting. Once it's dry, I'm just waiting for the name to dry. Like I said before, all you need to do now is wait for it to dry, put a mount around it and frame it. I'd like to thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the like button and subscribe, please. Thank you very much for watching.